Hey everybody, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Saturday night, 7 o'clock p.m., which means it is time for another video tutorial. I've got a good fun fold for you today. Let me just be sure that we're transmitilating over here, stage left. And yep, it looks like we are, so I'm going to make this bigger so I can see when y'all come, and if you have any questions you can ask, and then hopefully I'll see them and be able to answer them. So I saw this fun fold. It's called a pop-up sentiment fun fold, and I saw it. It was the Wednesday tutorial over at Split Coast Stampers, and I'd never seen anything like it, and I thought I am going to make that. And I know it's really close to seeing the tutorial over there, but you know, you're going to get to see it again. Hey Debbie, hey Karen, hi Brooke, hi Fran and Rosie and Karen. Appreciate you joining. Hey Sylvia. So I've used a couple of things. I try really hard. I was telling the ladies on Thursday at our Zoom meeting, hey Holly, that I try not to use like 75 different stamp sets, but sometimes you kind of have to use a few to get enough sentiments, and that's what I did on this one. But the basis of it is the Beauty of Tomorrow bundle with the stamp set and the beautiful leaves. You can see I've used this big die cut here. But then on the inside, look what it does. Are you ready? Everybody watching? Is everybody watching? Okay, I'm going to do it like this so that you can see. And look what the sentiments do. They pop up and you can see them. They come from two different sides. And when you open it all the way, you can see the whole sentiment suite. But when it's standing up like this, it's very dimensional. It looks actually like a street sign, you know, with the street signs at odds to each other. But I just thought it was cooler than cool. And so I did a little bit of a riff on it. I riffed it a little bit because they didn't use a mat on the inside. And you know me, I'm going to use a mat if I can, which meant I had to do a little reverse engineering, but I did. And all of these, all the directions will be on the blog tomorrow. So you will not need to do anything. But what I did kind of want to just show you right quick, like this sentiment is from Beauty of Tomorrow. And then I used two more stamp sets to get the rest of the sentiments. I used Grateful and Thankful for You from Sparkle of the Season. These are both new stamp sets. And then I used Blessed out of Festive and Bright. Okay? Now, look, if you don't have all of these stamp sets, I'm going to tell you what kind of your criteria for the inside sentiments are, and then you can modify it to work with what you've got or with what you'd like to say. Because this would also be an awesome Christmas card. Just change up the paper and the sentiments, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, I have a cinnamon cider card base, and we're going to start by scoring that. Now, for this one, I am using my paper trimmer, and part of the reason is because I'm going to be making score lines at 1/16 inch increments, okay? And that's directly because I wanted to use a mat, and then I needed some things to work out math-wise. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is score this cardstock at 4 1/4. It's just a regular old 5.5 by 8.5, so regular. And I'll score it like so. And we'll get it set up like that. And gonna burnish it. Now, I'm going to make the inside mechanism first. Hey, Joan, thank you so much. Hey, Belinda. Karen, the outside of that card looks like the one you sent me. Yes, it could be. You don't know. And then I'm going to take two Blackberry Bliss mats. These are 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to adhere them to the inside of the card. I'm kind of working backwards from how I normally do, just because, you know. Okay, maybe I'm a little nervous about this fold. No, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm just doing it like this because this is how I made the card to start with. And so what the heck, just keep going like you started. So these are my mats for the inside. And I'm going to put one on the front cover and the back, both. And just kind of eyeball it to be sure they're kind of lined up if you can. I don't think anybody's going to get their micrometer out and double check that, but you don't know. People do odd things. I'm just saying. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Now I have this piece right here. This is my inside. This is going to be my mechanism right here. And note to self, I need another pack of the Beauty of the World, or the Blackberry Beauty DSP, because this was the last piece I had. I made a cardinal error. When you're trying a new card fold and you're trying to engineer some stuff, You know what I'm saying? You need to use printer paper, or you're going to go through some DSP like I did. So I need to buy more. So I'm just going to use a different inside. This is a 5 1/8 tall by 8 1/8 long piece of the DSP. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make the mechanism. Your first score is going to be at 4 1/16. Okay, that's where kind of the beauty of our trimmer comes in, because you can actually measure 1/16 on it. Okay, so you can see here is 4 inches, here is 4 1/4, so we know this is 4 1/8, and because we all excelled in math, we know that this little halfway mark is 4 1/16. So I'm going to line the left side up with 4 1/16. Now, and this is just me, you can do whatever you like. I have found that this scoring blade is like tested or devised to really score cardstock. Okay, so when I use this on DSP, I find that I either get not enough score, or I go crazy and I get too much and it actually will tear it. Okay, so I am going to use my bone folder. You could also use the stylus from your paper trimmer, or I'm sorry, your scoreboard. Now, you could actually use this because it does have the 16ths on it, but I'm just using the trimmer because, you know, it's easy. All right, so I'm going to put the left side at 4 1/16, and I'm going to use my the stylus from the paper trimmer. I keep saying paper trimmer. It's not the paper trimmer, paper. It's not the paper trimmer. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. And I am scoring using the stylus from the scoreboard. Goodness. Okay, so now I have a score line down the center at 4 1/16. I want to score at 3/4 of an inch on both sides of that score line. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put the score line at the 3/4 inch mark, right there. Okay, right there, and score again. Now, I highly recommend, since if you use the stylus and you're on DSP, that you use the fat end, not the skinny end. The skinny end, it's very, very easy to tear DSP. Just telling you that, okay? Hey, Jewel. Hey, Donna. Hey, Carol. Now, we're going to, did you see what I did? Here's the center that we did at 4 1/16. I lined this up at 3/4 of an inch and scored, and now I'm going to flip it 180 degrees, and I'm going to put the halfway mark again, the 4 1/16, at 3/4 of an inch again. All right. Quick, put your hand up or say, Mary, I did not get that at all. I do not understand. If you do not understand, this score line right here is the 4 1/16, and I've put it 3/4 of an inch over. So when I score here, I'm scoring 3/4 of an inch from the center. All right. Let's see. It's maybe a little easier to see here. So here's the center score, and then 3/4 of an inch on either side. And that's it. Alrighty? I know, Tara, it's beautiful. So we'll set this stuff aside, and I'm going to go ahead and fold. Now, the center fold is going to be a mountain. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold it like so. And then I'm going to fold valleys at the 3/4 inch marks. Okay? Just like that. So this is where you do want enough score that you can actually fold the paper and get a nice burnish on it, but you don't want so much that it tears. Okay, so there we go. So now what I have done is I have created the middle. Can you see how that's looking? Now, see the corresponding correspondence? Okay, so now we're going to adhere this to the inner liner, and I'm going to use liquid glue so that I've got a little squiggle, and here's how I'm going to do it. Pay very close attention. Get closer to your computer. I'm going to put the liquid glue, don't put it in here. I mean, you know, you can, but it's really not going to make your card work right. I'm just throwing that out there. And want to use some liquid glue out near the edges of your cardstock. You don't need a whole ton, but it's going to have a little movement, so I'd use it. Now, you're going to do the eyeball trick, right? You know that you're going to line it up to look like it's just a piece of DSP on its liner. Okay? which means I'm making sure that my edge is about the same all the way around, right? And that it's straight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out, and I may have to lift up the side. You see how I'm lifting up the side? And I'm going to put glue back here, and I'm going to glue this side so that it lines up correctly. And the reason you can do that is because I worked out the measurements for you, okay? So that you don't have to think, I wonder if that's still going to work. Hey, Robbie, appreciate it. I haven't seen you for a minute. How have you been? All right, so again with the liquid glue, just enough, not too much, not too little, just right. And then we're just going to pull this aside, up like so, and line it up. So you can see what I've done there is I have just lined that up with the edge of my mat. And because the measurements are correct, it will actually lay flat if you want it to. What you really want it to do though is fold up like that so that you have the basis for your innards, just like that. All right, okay, so now I'm going to put this aside and we're going to decorate the front, and then we'll come back to that. All righto. Now I've done a little bit of pre-cutting. This is a piece of gold metallic cardstock. Remember the metallic cardstock, you get gold, brass, and bronze. Or no, copper, gold, and bronze. Those are the words I'm trying to get. This is the gold one. And I have used this large die from the Beautiful Leaves, which is bundled with Beauty of Tomorrow. Okay, so I've used this. Let me just tell you a little trick here. This is very, very intricate. Perhaps you can tell by all of the little nooks and crannies. So run it back and forth through your cutter a few times, then push the whole die cut out from the basis, from the rest of your metallic cardstock. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Oh shoot, I can't get it out of my thing. Okay. So push it all out completely. Don't worry about the middle right yet, but push it all out and take your time, because you see these pieces right here, how they go into the die cut. If you're not careful, I mean, it'll come out fine. It cuts great and it'll come out fine. But if you aren't careful, you will tear it. You will tear your cardstock, okay? So take your time, take the time it takes. And then after it's completely clear and you can get your hands all the way around it, then push out all of the little inside pieces, okay? All right. So I have a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock, and I have another piece of the Blackberry Beauty cardstock, and I'm going to put this side up. I like how it's kind of a neutral look. Hey, Carol. Almost ready to start making cards. Yay! That means you're about ready to get everything all unpacked too. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to have you back. All right, so we're gonna just adhere that to the card front like so, or to the mat. Okay. Now, on a piece of cardstock that is, I believe, 3 1/8 square, yes, I used my Stamparatus and I stamped the very big, this is one of my favorite sentiments ever. I love the font, I love the saying, I love the way they've written it on there. It's just, it really appeals to me. So I've used this in Blackberry Bliss on this piece of 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 cardstock. And I'm gonna make a frame for it using the Blackberry Beauty ephemera pack. Now this is the same pack that you all got, but I unstuck everything. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Carol. I unstuck everything and stuck it inside a stamp case just because it's an awkward size and it didn't really fit where I needed it to go very well. So what I am using for this frame looks like this, and it's got a couple of little tags on the inside of it, and I'm just going to push the innards out. This is Cinnamon Cider and Gold. Okay, and we'll put that back for another day. See, these fit real nice in my storage crate from Stampin' Storage, and so it makes it much easier to, you know, keep everything kind of tidy. Now I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue, put it around the edge of my white cardstock, and then I'm going to adhere that little frame to it that I just cut out of the ephemera pack. It got a little jiggy with the ink, the glue right there, so I may have to wipe that off. Hang on a sec. Let me get that off of there, because otherwise we're going to have us a little bit of a mess. And I don't want a mess. I don't like messes. I mean, I am a messy mess. I am a messy mess maker, there's no doubt. Okay, now we'll just take this frame and go right over the top like so. All right. And then where I've got a little squish of glue, I'll just wipe it with my damp chamois. My damp chamois. That would be a dampy chamois. No, that didn't make sense. Okay. Now we'll take a little liquid glue and adhere our die cut to the front. And what you do want to do is use your card base so that you can make sure that even though it's going to extend past the edge of the mat, you don't want it to extend past the edge of the card base itself, right? Because you still want this to fit in an envelope. Now I'm just going to hold that down like that. And then I'm going to use some liquid glue. Thank you. I see thumbs up and hearts, so I'm assuming that means you like this card. I'm thanking you for that. I think it's very beautiful. I think this is maybe one of the prettiest sets. I really like it. I love the ephemera pack, and I really, really think this is a cool fun fold. Okay, so we're just going to get that lined up, making sure that I'm not over any card base edges. And it takes a little twisting because it's big. This is a big die cut. Okay, so it makes a statement with one die cut. We'll just get that pushed like so, and then we can take it off of the card base. And then I'm just going to pop this over the top, pop my sentiment over the top with some dimensionals. All right, righto, here we go. Some dimensionalis. And then I'm going to add a couple of little dots, and then I'm going to show you how to do the inside, which is where all the fun is. This is like the unassuming exterior that hides the ba-boom. That's what's fun about fun folds, right? Is the front, almost always the front looks like, oh, okay, it's a card. Yeah, okay. And then you open it up and it's like, ooh, bam. I like a bam. I like a little bam. All right. We're just going to center that. Not a whole lot of design going on right there, just centering like so. And then I'm going to take a couple of my brushed metallic dots. Favorite thing, I love them, I love them. And I'm going to try to find my, oh no. Well, where did you go? Hang on a second, you guys. Sorry. Well, you know what? This is proof positive that you should never clean. Because when you clean up, you look, oh, there it is. I found it. Never mind. I found it. And I'm going to do a little mixed metal. So I've got some gold on there, but I like the kind of, it looks kind of coppery to me, right? So I'm going to use one of these copper dots. Like that. And then I'm going to use a larger gold dot here. Don't be afraid to mix your metals. Mix metals. It's like mixed martial arts, only, you know, not nearly as dangerous. All right, and that's going to be the front. Now, my friends on Thursday night kind of had to pull me back from the edge because I was pulling out my linen thread and I'm going to make a big old bow. And they're like, no, Mary, no, don't step away from the bow. Oh, and I said, okay. So that's what I did. I stepped away from the bows. Now, let's decorate the innards. Let's decorate the innards, shall we? Okay, let me show you what we got. All right, I have 3 sentiments. You can see I've cut them with stitched rectangle dies, and 2 of them are single words, and they use the this die right here to cut those out. So that's this next to smallest die in this longer, skinnier shaped one. And then the Thankful for You, which is from Sparkle of the Season, as is Grateful. or the blah, 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 blah. Thankful for You is this one right here. Okay? So don't be afraid to have them be different sizes. Here's the trick. Write this down. Stomp your foot and put it in bold. These sentiments, total length, cannot be longer than 3 1/2 inches. Okay? Did you write that down? I'm waiting. Cannot be longer than 3 1/2 inches. Okay? Here's why. When you close this, everything moves towards the outside of the card. And if you're more than 3, you can see right there, the tail of that little bird is 3 1/2 inches right there. And you can see it is just staying inside the card. Okay? So really the most important and critical thing of all is not longer than 3 1/2 inches total. All right? Okay. Okay, I think I stomped my foot just enough there. Alrighty, then I stamped this little image. This is from Beauty of Tomorrow in Early Espresso on basic white. And I stamped my bird in Cinnamon Cider. And I cut 2 of these little guys from some more of the metallic cardstock, one in the bronze and one in gold. Okay, look how pretty those are. I love how the metallic cardstock takes embossing so well, and these little leaves from Beautiful Leaves emboss as they cut, so that's pretty cool. So I learned as I made this first one, it's a heck of a lot easier to decorate these before you put them on the card. So I mean, you can absolutely do what you want, but I would recommend that you decorate them down here. Okay, so the first one I'm going to decorate with a couple of these leaves, and I'm going to put them on just like that. I mean, it's not very complicated. So what I'll do here is first I'm holding them both because I found the orientation I wanted, and I'll stick that down like so, and then I can pick the other one up, put a little more glue on the back, and stick it down. Now, just as a reminder, you want to use enough glue, but not so much that it oozes everywhere, and that is particularly important with metallic paper, whether it's the metallic foil or the metallic cardstock. It's very difficult to get adhesive off of the metallics without it showing and marring. Okay, so I'm just going to put that out there for your edification. I'm going to set that aside and let it dry, and I'll go ahead and decorate the other 2. For the flowers, I've got my light Old Olive blend, and I'm just going to color the leaves with that, like so. Now you're all going, oh my god, I can't believe she did not pre-color that. What in the world is she doing? Usually she pre-colors all this stuff. Yay, Karen, I'm so glad you have everything to case it. That's awesome. There you go, Linda. Linda got it, 3 1/2. Very important. I'll probably put that like in bold, maybe in red tomorrow, bold red tomorrow on the blog. Because it's really important, because I hate for you to get to that last little stage and close it and be like, now I have to make a new envelope. Okay, so I've colored those Old Olive, and I'll just maybe put another little bit of shading on half of some of these leaves just to make it look all artistic and stuff. You know, I like you to get a master class in blend coloring every time you join me. And then I'm going to take my Bumblebee Stampin' Write marker, and I'm going to put a little dot of the bumblebee on each of these little berries. This is Mary's Stampin' Write marker hack to make gold. I do wish we still had gold clear Wink of Stella. Gold Wink of Stella, because if we did, I would be using that here. If you have gold Wink of Stella, please feel free. Use the tip of it to dab these little berry guys. It'll be a perfect accompaniment to all of the gold on the front and on the inside. Okay, so I did that. And now I'm just going to take it and adhere it like so. Okay, so no longer than 4 1/2 inches. Amy, don't do negative transference. Yes, 4 1/2 inches is wrong. Y'all don't listen to Amy. Do not listen to Amy. She didn't do well in math. I'm certain of it. Okay. All right, so there's the center one. And then I'm just going to put the little the little bird guy. Now, you remember noticing that this was very close to 3.5 inches. So I'm going to make darn skippy sure that I push him right up against that sentiment and make sure that he's only 3.5 inches from there to the end of his little tail feathers. Okay, so there he is. Get my handy dandy ruler. There you go, Tanya. You are welcome. Now I'm going to measure. Look at that, 3 3/8. Perfect. Whoa, it's like I planned it or something. Okay, I'm gonna do one more thing because I'm sorry, but I had to have some linen thread, okay? I'm sorry, sue me. I'm gonna take a little bit of linen thread and I'm gonna do me a little bunny ear bow, maybe. Sometimes me and my fingers don't like communicate. It's like there's this Hoover Dam or something between me and them, and it's like I send the signal, tie a bow, and my fingers go, yeah, a bow. You're kidding me right now, right? So I'm gonna use my third hand. Okay, I got a good question for you guys. The other day, when Finn and I were doing our reading with kids on Zoom on Thursday, they polled the kids. Okay, so here's the question, and you guys can answer at will, okay? If you could choose between being the smartest person in the room or the funniest person in the room, which would you choose? Go. Okay? Yeah, I'm excited to hear. I said funniest because I knew I would never be the smartest, so I said funniest. Okay, so I've just tied a little bow, and what I'm going to do is use a little dab of liquid glue. Funniest, okay, funniest. I'm getting a lot of votes for funniest. I guess I shouldn't have said what I said, because in this poll, of course, if you decided you wanted to be the smartest, then you would be, right? Because it wouldn't matter if right now you could be the smartest, because this is a poll. All right, so that's just going to sit there, and you could also use a little rolled up glue dot if you wanted, but I'm not. Okay, now a bit like Harvey, oh so smart or oh so kind. Yes, there you go. Nobody likes a know-it-all. Well, I liked Sheldon. I mean, I didn't like him, like I don't know that I would have wanted to know him, but he certainly amused me. Sheldon Cooper, Big Bang Theory, was able to be funny and smart all at the same time. Now, while you guys are answering that, I'm going to take it. How about the funniest? Oh, I like it. We all know that I generally crack myself up, so I might as well go with smartest. There you go. There you go. All right, I'm getting a little drink because I feel a cough coming on. Hang on. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to adhere our sentiments into our card base. And the trick with this is that you want some of them to be adhered to this side of your mountain, and then you want one or more of them to be adhered to this side. So I went with the old even odd number thing. Odd is what you decorate with, so I used 3 because I just really didn't want to use 5, and 4 was making me twitchy, right? So, oh, Brooke, you're too sweet. That's awfully nice. Brooke wins. Brooke wins. She's my best friend ever. Okay. Now, so what I recommend is once you know the order that you want to put these in, kind of lay them out. And obviously you could start on one side or the other, whichever you preferred, but I rather arbitrarily went like this. And what you're going to want to do, I think is the easiest way, is to adhere the top and bottom ones, getting them about the same distance from the top and the bottom of the card, and then you can split the difference with the middle one. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to pick this little guy up, and I'm going to put some liquid glue just on this end right here. Don't put any more than that. You should put some. Glue should come out of your bottle. There we go. Just a little. See, I mean, it's like really not even very much, right? And what I did then is I just kind of picked up the card a little bit to fold it so I could really see where that crease was. And then I stuck the end of the sentiment right in the crease and let it lay down. Just like that. And then kind of hold it in place till the glue takes. And then when you raise it up, you should see that it is attached to the fold. Okay? So then we're going to do the same exact thing with the other one that's on that side, which happens to be also the other end of the series. You can see I've picked up the card just so I can really see where that fold is. And I'm making sure it's about the same distance from the bottom of the card as the top one is from the top of the card. So this distance about the same as this distance, okay? If it's not exact, that's fine too. And then pick it up and make sure it's pushed right into that crease. And part of the reason for that is why? Because you still want this to be only 3.5 inches, and it is, okay? So now we have these two on. The next one, the middle one, it's going to adhere over here on this side. These adhered on this side. This one's going to adhere over here. So I've helped myself by already putting my decoration on. This time I'm going to put my liquid glue on the other end, like that. I'll pick up the other side of the card and lay it against there, like so. Make sure it's straight, make sure it's splitting the difference between these two, and just hold it until it's there. Now here is the 3.5 inches. There you go, Robin. That looks about right. Exactly, Carol. T-Lar it is. Okay, and then, all things being equal, when you close it, you can't see anything over here because we used what measurement? Don't answer, Amy. That's right, 3.5 inches. And when you open it, it all moves and your sentiments pop up. Okay, this is currently my favorite fun fold. I just think it is the coolest. Okay, I really, really do. Okay, so now all we have left to do is adhere the card front. And I am going to, because it's plenty thick, I'm going to just use liquid glue to adhere this to the front. All right. I know, I was so excited to see this on Split Coast Stampers. I felt a little bad, like jumping right on it and using it for my card this week, but I had to because I really, really liked it a lot. Okay. And then we're just going to adhere this to the front. Now, no doubt, this is thick, okay? It's a thick card, people. So it's going to take a little extra postage, but it will absolutely fit in your medium envelope. It's just going to be thicker. It's going to be a little heavier. And you can just give that a little push. You could put your card front on ahead of time if you wanted to, before you put your sentiments in. It's totally up to you. Okay, so there's that. We'll decorate our envelope right quick like a bunya, and Bidanske, and Bidanske. Okay, I don't know why I'm singing Dunske like that. I have no idea. Okay, so I've got my little bird, and I'm going to stamp him in cinnamon cider right here in the corner. I love this little bird. Oh, you guys, yesterday, no, the same day they did the pole barn, whatever day that was, Thursday, I walked out to check and there was a dead bird just laying on the ground in my carport. I don't know why. Didn't look like anything had gotten him. I don't know, maybe he had heat stroke or something. I thought that was pretty sad. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, and then we'll put a little bit of our pretty foil paper on the envelope flap. And we'll be done. We'll be done. Did I go over? Yes, I'm sorry. 35 minutes. It's probably going to be 36 minutes. My bad. Too much yakking. I've been yakking and yakking. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. There you go, Karen, in case you bork it, which is always a possibility for me. There you go. All right, and we'll just give this a quick trim. That almost brought a song on from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but I managed to quell it just in time, just for Amy, because I know how much she really loves show tunes and stuff. Okay. Alrighty, and there is our card. Now you can see it's a little bit different looking than my sample, only in that I used a different inner paper. But I'm sorry, but is that not the coolest? I am so happy that Dina did this as her Split Coast Stampers tutorial for Wednesday, because I love it so much. All right, you guys, I appreciate you hanging with me for a little extra time. I hope you are taking a look at the celebration goodies, because there's lots of stuff to get for free when you purchase. And if you have any thought at all about joining Stampin' Up, this month and next are absolutely the best time to do it, and I would love to have you on my team. So give me a holler if you have any questions. If you want to chat, my phone number is pretty much anywhere. If you send me an email, I'd be happy to call you and chat too. So I hope I'll see you next Thursday at 1 o'clock on my YouTube. Have a great rest of your weekend, y'all. Thanks. Ta.